Well, they're dialing up the crazy again. It didn't take that long from the last video. Honestly, it seems like these bureaucrats every single day are doing something else to dial up the crazy and make our lives even worse than they already are. And here we see that there was an unprecedented leak from the Supreme Court that there was a slip opinion or an opinion, a draft opinion in the case that seeks to overturn Roe v. Wade and Casey. Planned Parenthood versus Casey looks to be true. So I'm not going to give a long, detailed discussion on this. I just want to make a certain point here why this is so significant, especially in light of the events of the last few years, the unprecedented attack on abortion, and of course it goes. With Florida and Texas, there's these "don't say gay" rules, and bureaucrats coming after the LGBT community, which is why I want one of the main reasons why I want to talk about this, because it's not just Roe versus Wade and Casey; it's the cases that are based on that. So I remember in Adventures in Legal Land, years and years and years ago, I mentioned a particular case. I'll get to it in just a second, but just to show. It's a 98-page decision from Justice Alito, who was nominated to the Supreme Court by George Bush. Zero. And so if we go into this decision, again, it could change. You know, a couple of weeks after I do this video, this may not be. But where it sits now, this is really scary. So they did overturn Roe, and Roe versus Wade is the one that a lot of people seem to be talking about. It's not the only one. And I think there's probably more significance to Casey, and that's Planned Parenthood versus Casey. These cases, after the Supreme Court decides on them, lower court cases, obviously trial courts are going to be based on that ruling, and then there's going to be Court of Appeal cases based on that particular ruling, as well as Supreme Court cases that will be, will make their rulings based on the decision in that case. And so Lawrence versus Texas is from 2003, and this is a really, really important case, because what this case did was actually strike down the last of the Victorian era type of statutes that made it basically illegal to have a homosexual relationship. So what happened there was two adult men, consenting adults, homosexual, living their lives, actually got charged with crimes, the crime of sodomy. And it had to go to the Supreme Court, and they finally got rid of these laws. Well, it seems like they are on the way back. And just like with Roe versus Wade, there are states that, I think Arizona is one of them, that have trigger laws that once Roe versus Wade then they have automatic abortion bans. And some of them they want to ban outright, just completely outright. This is what's really scary. To hear these Republicans, and it usually tends to be the Republicans who are really dialing up the nuts, the craziness, the Alex Jones types, this QAnon crap. Ohio lawmaker Gene Schmidt recently said that rape can be an opportunity for teenage victims to become good mothers, as she argued for an abortion ban. It would be an opportunity for that woman, no matter how young or old she is. It's going to help. We're going to help that life be a productive. Oh my gosh! Some might even say it's God's will. Ay, ay, oh, mon Dieu. To really see the craziness, when we look here, Missouri lawmakers delete ectopic pregnancy provision from abortion bill after uproar. Now, this is before the Supreme Court did what they did, doing repealing. They actually had in there. Now, an ectopic pregnancy, for those who are not aware, that is where the egg is fertilized outside of the uterus, sometimes in the fallopian tube. A fetus cannot survive. It cannot be viable. And almost in many, many instances, I don't know what the percentage is. I'll have to put that in the video. That could result in the death of the mother. And so a lot of what these bans are doing, they're banning it outright. Now, they did change it here. They took the language out in Missouri. But now that but they're getting their bill, they'll get it law and then they can amend it later, especially if they're being emboldened by a Supreme Court that's overturning Casey and Roe v. Wade. So you're talking women will die. Women are going to die if this stands, if the abortion ban. There's already women dying, but this is just going to make it even worse because you already have the ban in Texas. Overturning Casey is now going to affect all the cases, all the rulings based on Casey. Just like when Plessy versus Ferguson was overturned, that affected all the cases that were based on that. And so Lawrence versus Texas in 2003 states they're citing it. The Casey decision again confirmed that our laws and tradition afford constitutional protection to personal decisions relating to marriage, procreation, contraception, family relationships, child rearing, and education. In explaining the respect the Constitution demands for the autonomy of the person, I know as an anarchist we can laugh at that. That's not the purpose of this video. The Constitution demands for the autonomy of the person in making these choices. We stated as follows. Keep in mind, this is being overruled. This is from Casey. This is being overruled. These matters involving the most intimate and personal choices a person may make in a lifetime, choices central to personal dignity and autonomy, or central to the liberty protected by the 14th Amendment. At the heart of liberty is the right to define one's own concept of existence, of meaning, of the universe, and the mystery of human life. Beliefs about these matters should not define the attributes of personhood were they formed under compulsion of the state. That's the basis of the privacy issue in Roe, and now this is the basis of striking down not only abortion laws, but striking down the sodomy laws and basically making homosexuality or the expression of homosexuality in a healthy adult relationship, making it a crime. Those were struck down. Now it's on the table again, potentially on the table. And we know that they're going after LGBTQ people. We already see it. These are real tyrannical efforts. They're banning books. They're banning books. They're banning books in 2022. And here, now we see that Lawrence is affected. So what is this going to mean for the LGBTQ community? Is it going to be even worse? Are they going to be really coming after them? They have to be emboldened by this. But we know that they're so crazy that they wanted to ban abortions for ectopic pregnancies. That's a whole level of insanity right there. You cannot possibly have a viable human baby, and chances are the mother is going to die. And they wanted that. In 2022, these crazy bureaucrats, these lunatic lawmakers, so-called, all right, these government agents wanted to ensure that a woman with an ectopic pregnancy couldn't terminate, which means that there's probably a really good chance both of them are going to die instead of just the one. This is nuts. And unfortunately, Casey is overturned, which of course is going to have a direct effect on cases like Lawrence versus Texas, which was based on that particular liberty interest that was discussed in that case and held for 50 years, well, near 50 years. So that's today's. I appreciate everyone watching this far. This is just crazy. This is just nuts. And if they're willing to go after and put women's lives in danger in this way, what else do they have coming down the pike? What other bit of craziness are they going to ratchet up tomorrow that I'll have to do a video on? But this is some really scary stuff. Again, it could change. It could change. They may not have enough votes, but it is a majority decision overturning. If it was a minority dissent, that can't overturn. He says here, we do not pretend to know how a political system or society will respond to today's decision overruling Roe and Casey. So they did overrule it. This is the draft opinion. So it's going to have widespread effects, and it is definitely a full front assault on our liberties, which is what governments do. But this is pretty bold. This is really going and going for the throat there. So hopefully it does change, and if it doesn't, it's probably going to just get worse. It's just going to probably get worse, unfortunately. Hey, I appreciate everyone tuning in and watching here on the No State Project channel. If you'd like to help support the channel so I can do more videos more frequently, you can look in the description, and there are a number of links that you can use to be able to do that. Again, thanks for watching.